Hi. She kicked us out of the stroll like an hour because we just standing on the wall. Yeah. She kicked us out of the stroll like an hour because what we doing? We left.
keep going. Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, please salute members of the North Carolina Central University graduate and professional class for 2019. Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the posting of the colors. Quiet, please. Oh, God, I forgot that. Again, we salute members of the North Carolina Central University's graduate and professional class of 2019. Please look around and notice where the exits are located. Medical personnel are on duty should the need arise. I declare our 133rd commencement exercises open. It gives me great pleasure to present to you the 12th Chancellor of North Carolina Central University, Dr. Johnson O. Akinleye.
You may be seated. Congratulations once again. Today's 133rd commencement exercises are the culmination of hard work, grit, and academic rigor displayed by the more than 412 scholars who have earned and will receive their degree this afternoon. The graduate and professional ceremony is one that recognizes academic achievement in awarding master's degree, Juris Doctor, and Doctor of Philosophy degrees to students who have met the requirements of their respective programs of study. For this formal ceremony, filled with pomp and circumstance, I ask that while we want you to enjoy this time of great celebration for graduates and families alike, there also is a need to ensure that this moment is equally joyous for all our scholars. Please be generous and mindful of your neighbors who, like you, have anxiously waited, prayed, and sacrificed in anticipation of this moment. We know you are eager to get a glimpse of your family member or dear friend walking across the stage and securing their hard-earned degree. And we want to ensure that all have the opportunity to do so. If you or someone near you is in need of medical attention, please signal to a member of the public safety and law enforcement that is around you throughout this arena. Remember, if you see something, say something. Thank you in advance for your polite attention as we officially begin North Carolina Central University's 133rd commencement exercises. Today's ceremony is a culmination of rigorous study by students pursuing a quest for discovery, a thirst for knowledge, and desire to grow, both personally and professionally. Each of you, members of the class of 2019, represent the fulfillment of the Eagle Promise. You are scholars who have completed your degrees and are socially and globally engaged, have proven leadership skills, and are market ready for your next big chapter. Give yourself a big round of applause and congratulations. At this time, it has become our tradition at North Carolina Central University to recognize two of the many outstanding members of the graduating class who have attained great heights during their matriculation at NCCU. These leaders truly epitomize the Eagle Promise. This year, I would like to recognize a husband and wife who are graduating from the School of Law. Will Gleworth and Thalita Silver, please stand. The Silvers' journey to obtain their Juris Doctor was no small feat for the married couple. Ironically, both Gleworth and Thalita are from Brazil, but didn't meet until 2010 and married in 2013. Gleworth immigrated to the United States at age 5. As they navigated through life together, both decided to enroll at NCCU School of Law after completing their undergraduate studies in criminal justice and international relations. They developed an interest in bankruptcy law and assisted with the establishing the NCCU Bankruptcy Council. During law school, Gleavorth interned with the U.S. Congress Representative Karen Bass, office in California, and Talitha interned with a federal judge in the nation's capital. However, Talitha found that her law school experience was missing an important factor. While sitting in class and learning about constitutional law and other rights, I realized that my classmates had rights that I didn't have, said Talitha. In wanting to experience the full breadth of American freedom, Talitha received her American citizenship in October 2018 after extensive process and testing with the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. After successfully passing the North Carolina bar exam, Gleavorth hopes to continue pursuing his interest in bankruptcy law, and Talitha is looking to work as a judge in chambers, which is an office and courtroom that handles emergency and short-term cases and hearings, as well as many other administrative matters. Please join me in extending our warm congratulations to Gleavorth and Talitha Silva. You may be seated. Additionally, there are 2 graduates who are the 3rd cohort of students to complete the partnership program in communication disorders with Beijing Language and Culture University. May I have Kukuing Kong and Hiu Ling to stand. Please give them a round of applause and congratulations to them. Please be seated. North Carolina Central University is listed on the Military Times 2019 Best of Vets 4-year colleges. If you are a graduate who is also a veteran, will you please stand at this time so that we can salute you for your service to our country? Congratulations, please be seated. In the seats surrounding this arena are the women, men, and children who have encouraged, supported, and prayed for these graduates. It is thanks to them that members of the class of 2019 are aptly prepared with a new academic credential. We are grateful to all of you for surrounding these scholars with your love. Our illustrious university prides itself on having world-class faculty and staff who nurture, prepare, and transform our students into catalysts of change. I would like to take a moment to thank our more than 1,300 faculty and staff members whose roles vary from instructor to groundskeeper, but all of whom show passion and dedication in service to our students. Join me in thanking our faculty and staff. NCCU alumni are influencers in nearly every industry, from starting and leading their own businesses and enriching the lives of children through primary and secondary education classrooms, to developing and shaping policy for local and federal government, our Eagles work tirelessly and giving back to their alma mater. We are grateful for their devotion to their old NCC. Class of 2019. Before we move on with the program, please take just a moment to stand and applaud your loved ones who are here with you today. They deserve your praises. You may be seated. Truth and service are cornerstones at this institution. We acknowledge our students who excel in this regard by placing an asterisk beside their name in the program. Each one has met or exceeded the requirements for NCCU Student Service Impact Award, which highlights the impact of their service in the community. Will all who have received this honor please stand? The Service Impact Award, please stand. Let's give them a round of applause. Class of 2019, congratulations. The program will commence as printed, following reflections that will be provided by the Reverend William Watson of the Office of Spiritual Development and Dialogue. Again, good afternoon.
Greetings and good afternoon to our faculty, staff, alumni, administration, trustees, family, and honorees of NCCU's graduating class of 2019. You have made it. Whether it is by deliberation, willpower, or divine purpose, you have made it to this very moment. Today is proof that you sit as a testimony of having overcome your critics, the unforeseen obstacles, challenges, events, and variables that have come your way. To quote the late, great boxer Muhammad Ali, you didn't just count the days, but you made the days count. As Eagles at North Carolina Central University, we have faced many challenges along this journey. Sadly, we also lost a few fallen Eagles along the way, such as our own Jaquan Loggins, DeAndre Ballard, Alexandra Williams, Joshua Winstead, and Mikhail Bell. They will be missed greatly. We as Eagles have stood with resilience. We have united as a stronger community. Though you have been through many storms on this journey, we must take on the attributes of an eagle and use each storm to soar to even higher heights. Some of you may ask, was all of this worth it? What happens now? Believe that God has created you for such a time as this. He has crafted you to endure the challenges and fears that may come. At those moments, you conquer those times with hope and faith that you are on the right path and use it as fuel to believe for even greater. Remember, graduates, that success is not simply measured by the knowledge you have gained, but by the ability to see any obstacle as an opportunity, to face any fear and use it as a tool to keep you hungry for the unknown, and use that hunger or desire as a means to propel you into your destiny. The word of God in Jeremiah 29:11 states, "For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." God believes in you. With tenacity and fervor, you have come so far, and I admonish you to keep reaching for even greater heights. This is just the beginning of your brand new adventure. Congratulations, graduates, and may God bless you all.
Thank you, Reverend Gilia Watson. Next, greetings will be given by the chairman of the NCCU Board of Trustees, Mr. George Hamilton, former president of the Graduate Student Association, Ms. Olivia Sings, and president of the Student Bar Association, Ms. Abigail M. Holloway.
To Chancellor Akinleye, Chief Justice Beasley, and other platform guests, good afternoon to all who are gathered here today. I am truly honored to bring greetings on behalf of the North Carolina Central University Board of Trustees as we celebrate another class of stellar NCCU scholars who will receive their well-earned degrees today. Over the past year, the Board of Trustees has remained committed to providing sound counsel and establishing guidelines for programs and services that administrators, faculty, and staff can implement to ensure that you, our future leaders, are fully prepared to compete in the global marketplace. You are and have always been our number one priority. And today, I am beaming with joy that you have crossed the finish line of a chapter in your long-awaited novel whose subsequent pages are waiting to be inked. For many of you, the path to this day was filled with what seemed to be steep hills and insurmountable mountains, but guess what? None of that matters now because you've overcome those obstacles. Your presence in this arena underscores your tenacity and determination to do whatever it takes to achieve your goals, and you and your family should be very proud. As you embark on your new journey, we ask that you remember what you've learned on the sloping hills and the verdant green. The eagle is no ordinary barnyard fowl because it has vision that produces extraordinary results. It is fearless and it faces problems head on. It is said that the eagle is the only bird that will fly through a storm using the wind to glide above the storm, thus viewing challenges as opportunities. Fellow Eagles, that's you. Congratulations again, and best of luck as you continue the university's motto of truth and service in the next chapter of your lives. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chancellor Akinleye, Board of Trustee members, Chief Justice Beasley, platform guests, faculty, staff, alumni, family, friends, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2019. When we were freshmen in college, 4 years to reach our graduation date seemed very far away. And when we began our graduate professional degree program, it seemed that this would also be very far away. But here we are, with our degrees in hand and wondering how time has flown so quickly with all the things that we have accomplished. However, there was one thing that got us through: perseverance. My name is Olivia Sings, former president of North Carolina Central University Graduate Student Association. Reflecting on the association's motto, success through teamwork. Teamwork is the effective collaboration of a group of people to obtain a goal. Today, all of us have reached our goal at NCCU with familiar support, friends, professors, study groups, and colleagues. It is often said that it takes a village to raise a child. However, I believe my fellow graduates will take the proverb a step further by noting that it takes a village to achieve any goal, regardless of your stage in life. As children, our first academic challenge was to learn our ABCs. Yet, we didn't see it as a challenge, but a very cool song that we wanted to learn. We never considered that we would not learn our ABCs, but that we could and we would. I would like to challenge you to tap into your inner child when it comes to the goals you have set for yourself. Remember that through each stepping stone, it is pivotal to persevere through all obstacles. In the words of Denzel Washington, fall down 7 times, get up 8. It is important to remember each challenge is only an opportunity to push you forward. With life, it is important to learn these new ABCs. A for abilities, B for breaks, and C for challenges. First, I want you to use your abilities to position yourself to be ready to seize unexpected breaks that come along your way. Remember to bend but never break when it comes to your goal. And second, navigate yourself to soar above any challenges that come your way. Let your abilities get you there. Let your breaks remind you exactly who you are. And your challenges remind you that you can conquer anything. Always remember, you are North Carolina Central University alumni. We are Eagles. We have all now discovered what is central to us. And as you conclude your academic tenure here at NCCU, I challenge you to help someone else discover exactly what is central to them. Again, congratulations, class of 2019.
Greetings, Chancellor Akinleye, Dean O'Neill, Board of Trustees, Chief Justice Beasley, faculty, staff, family, friends, and graduates. My name is Abigail Holloway, and I am the Student Bar Association President for the North Carolina Central University School of Law. I bring you greetings on behalf of the law school, our dean, and the Student Bar Association. Congratulations, class of 2019. Your achievements in your respective degree programs have gotten you to this point. You have all undergone a rigorous course of study and stand here on the starting line of the rest of your professional career. To my law school classmates, we have been told year after year that words are the tools of our trade. So, I'll be brief. We've been working diligently towards this degree. We've learned the general rules, exception to those rules, and exceptions to the exceptions. We have read and briefed hundreds of cases, such as Brown v. Board of Education and International Shoe. We have taken exam after exam, written paper after paper. Everything we've done, the sacrifices made, the tears, the laughter, and the prayers have prepared us for this day. It hasn't been an easy road, but here we stand. We didn't get here alone, so I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone who has helped us get to this point. Parents, family, friends, professors, administrators, mentors, and anyone else who has played a role in our success. Thank you. By getting to this point, we have set ourselves up for success. We are social engineers, fighters for justice, and orchestrators of peace. We have been given powers, and with those powers come responsibility. Use your powers for good. That is my charge to you today. The preamble of the Rules of Professional Responsibility state that a lawyer is a representative of clients, an officer of the legal system, and a public citizen having a special responsibility for the quality of justice. As a lawyer, you will have the power to advise, advocate, negotiate, and evaluate a multitude of issues. Use your powers for good. You might represent somebody who is fighting for their life. Use your powers for good. You might litigate a case for $50 billion. Use your powers for good. Use your powers for good, and don't forget where you came from. First Lady Michelle Obama said we should always have 3 friends in our lives. One who walks ahead, who we look up to and follow. One who walks beside us, who is with us every step of our journey. And then one who we reach back for and bring along after we've cleared the way. Remember this place. Remember the school that gave you an opportunity, the school that shaped you into the attorney that you've become. Never forget, as a legal eagle, you are cut from a different cloth. You are no ordinary barn fowl. Other birds may fly, but the eagle soars. And as we soar away from this place, never forget that the nest is here, ready to welcome us back, ready to encourage, and ready for us to get under the wings of those behind us in order to help them soar. Congratulations, class of 2019.
Thank you, Ms. Holloway, for those inspiring words. There are several distinguished guests, administrators, and others who are seated with me on the platform that I will recognize at this time. I would ask that you stand as I call your name. Please hold your applause until the last person has been recognized. To my left and your right, the Honorable Cherry Beasley, Chief Justice of the North Carolina Supreme Court. Mr. George Hamilton, Chair, NCCU Board of Trustees. Dr. Cornelius Wooten, Vice Chancellor, Administration and Finance. Dr. Harriet Frink Davis, Vice Chancellor, Institutional Advancement. Dr. Angela Coleman, Vice Chancellor, Division of Student Affairs. Mr. Samuel Cooper, President, NCCU Alumni Association. Ms. Demetria Robinson, Chair, Staff Senate. Dr. Jerome Goodwin, University Registrar. Dr. Robert Horn, University Platform. Please give them a round of applause. And to my right, your left, Dr. Felicia Nave, Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs. Dr. M. Lavon Reed, University Marshall. Dr. Jaleh Razay, Dean, School of Graduate Studies. Dr. Carlton Wilson, Dean, College of Arts and Sciences. Dr. Robert Wortham, Associate Dean, College of Behavioral and Social Sciences. Dr. Audrey Beard, Dean, School of Education. Dr. Anthony Nelson, Dean, School of Business. Dr. John Gant, Dean, School of Library and Information Sciences. The Honorable Elaine O'Neill, Interim Dean, School of Law. Reverend Gilliam Watson, Office of Spiritual Development and Dialogue. Dr. Kisha Lee, Associate Dean, University College. Ms. Olivia Sings, Past President, Graduate Students Association. Ms. Abigail Holloway, President, Student Bar Association. Dr. Ralph Barrett, Faculty Marshal. Please give them a round of applause. I would also like to especially recognize my wife, Mrs. Juanita Akinlaya, and the spouse of our Chief Justice, Mr. Beasley. Additionally, there are a number of individuals who serve as advisors, advocates, and supporters of North Carolina Central University, to whom I extend a warm welcome and our thanks. We're grateful for your presence with us today. Please stand or wave your hands when I recognize your affiliation. Members of the clergy, if you're here, wave your hands, please. Current and former members of the University of North Carolina Board of Governors. Current emeriti and former members of the NCCU Board of Trustees. Wave your hand. Give them a round of applause, please. All retirees of North Carolina Central University, if you are in the arena, please wave your hands. Thank you. Members of the NCCU Foundation Board of Directors, raise your hand. Give them a round of applause, please. And lastly, our commencement committee and all volunteers as hosts and hostesses for this event. Would you please give them a round of applause? Thank you. We will now hear a selection, Lift Every Voice and Sing, from NCCU's University Choir, led by Ms. Roberta Laws, conductor.
treading a path through the blood of the slaughtered, out of the gloomy past. Still now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast.
Let's give our university choir another round of applause. Thank you for the performance. Our commencement speaker is a history-making pioneer for our state and our country. This afternoon, we welcome the Honorable Cherry Beasley as our 133rd Graduate and Professional Exercises Commencement Speaker. The Honorable Cherry Beasley was appointed by Governor Roy Cooper on February 12, 2019, to serve as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of North Carolina. When she was named, she became the first black female to lead the highest court in our state. But Even before our appointment this year, she made history previously by being the first African American woman to win an election to a statewide office in North Carolina Supreme Court without first being appointed by the governor. Throughout her judicial career that spans more than 2 decades, Chief Justice Beasley has distinguished herself as a legal scholar and a public servant with a heart for aiding the community. She is also known for bringing fairness and equity to the citizens she serves. In addition to her role in state government, Chief Justice Beasley is a devoted wife, and she and her husband are parents to twin sons who just completed their first year of college. Chief Justice Beasley's humility is reflected in the words she spoke upon her momentous appointment just 4 months ago. And I quote, "Today is really a day of hope. It's a day of hope for justice, really, for all of us. It is not lost on me, this historic fact, especially since this is Black History Month. I know that the work we do is hugely important, but the other thing I think about are the little girls along the way who ought to have a sense of promise and hope for their futures. And so, I hope that in some way, my service inspires young people, especially, but I really hope it is a show of symbolism for where we are in North Carolina," end quote. Please join me in welcoming to the stage the Honorable Cheri Beasley, Chief Justice of the North Carolina Supreme Court.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Chancellor Akinleye, to all the administration, distinguished faculty, family and friends, and certainly to the class of 2019, I hope you all are feeling good this afternoon. I really do appreciate the invitation to be here this afternoon to share with you on this very, very special day. It's a pleasure to be here with you, with your loved ones, as you celebrate this milestone in your lives and in your career. Now, Dr. Akinleye did not tell you where I went to school. I'm going to tell you. I'm a graduate of Douglas College of Rutgers University in New Jersey. I received my law degree from the University of Tennessee College of Law in Knoxville, Tennessee. And just last year, I received my LLM in Judicial Studies at Duke University. Now, I tell you all of that, but I'm also a proud Eagle because I am a member of the North Carolina Central University Alumni Association. I pay my dues, and so y'all allow me to be an associate member, and I appreciate that. So I'm legit. I'm proud to be an Eagle, and I'm proud so much to be a part of your celebration of spirit and life and encouragement today. And what a celebration it really is. So gone are the days of the all-nighters and the test anxiety. Well, there are the law students over here who have another big test coming, but you'll have a few more all-nighters and a little bit more anxiety, but I hope you will relish in your accomplishments today. I hope you will take a moment today to think about what all of this journey has meant to you and all of the people in your lives who've supported you. I hope you will look at how far you've come, how much you've accomplished, how much you've grown, all the difficulties you've overcome, and you didn't let anything stand in your way to get to this moment. Now, I'm sure you probably had a class or two that you probably had hoped you'd done a little bit better in, and you probably missed a couple of classes that started at 8 a.m., and I won't tell your families. And I know there were burnt dinners and missed dances and broken down cars and moments of panic and empty bank accounts and maybe some tears along the way. I went to law school too, y'all. But in the end, you figured it out. And you spent the last few years retraining your brain with wonderful professors and mentors here at NCCU, learning to think differently, to really hone in on your scholarship, to research differently, to speak differently, to experience differently, and to embrace the tenets of your respective professions. You've had the opportunity to think about the ways, and now you're equipped to be impactful in your professions. You've grown so much. You are indeed scholars. And yet there is so much more to come. I know when I think about the accomplishments of each of you in this room and all the careers that you will have across your lives, I am so proud and hugely excited. I know that you will be the thought leaders, the visionaries in your professions, and your work will expose troubling problems in our society's institutions and governments. It will be you who will discover new treatments and ease the suffering in the world and in our communities right here in Durham, North Carolina. It will be you who develops new research methodologies and teaches generations of new students. You who proposes innovative new solutions that improve the quality of life for all of us. And you will bring new ways of us all thinking about dealing with what justice really means. It is you who has the power and really the obligation to transform your communities, to improve your state, to see that our country lives up to its potential, and to ease the suffering of others. And that's truly, truly cause for celebration. So I appreciate being a part of this celebration today. Now, the students and graduates here today really are the star of the show, but we absolutely must thank the parents and the families in this room today. You've loved your student, and you've challenged your loved ones, and you've challenged them not to give up and to stay encouraged. And part of your encouragement as families was based on the trust and belief in your system, in this system, and in your student. And I'm sure part of the motivation was also financial, because you know the longer they stay, the more it costs. But in all the ways that you've encouraged through love and through your faith in their belief to study hard and to work hard. And for that, I'm sure they are greatly appreciative. You all have been the head cheerleaders, and you've been such a part of how they've been able to live up to the challenges that have faced them. And you are indeed to be commended on this, your special day as well. So graduates, I'm sure there's some of you who have absolutely no idea what you're going to do once you finish this place. But I'm here to tell you that's okay. Because I want to tell you that when I finished law school, I didn't either. I had absolutely no clue and no sense of where I was headed. But I know all along the way that you will make us extremely proud. The Chancellor has told you that I was just recently appointed as the 29th Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of North Carolina by Governor Roy Cooper. Now, as you can well imagine, that when I said at my own law school graduation, and it's hard for me to believe that it was 28 years ago, there is absolutely no way that I could have possibly known that my path would have led me to be and to serve as the head chief of judicial official in the state of North Carolina. And so I say that to you, graduates, because your path is also unknown. And whether you think you have a plan or not, and whether you have your dream job lined up and to report to on Monday morning, you really have absolutely no idea about what's going to come next. And the reality is you're really not supposed to know. I often speak to a lot of groups, young folks and older folks and civics groups and churches and professional groups and law groups and a whole bunch of other folks. And one of the most common questions I receive is, what would you tell your younger self? I love that question. Because the reality is I would tell my younger self absolutely nothing. The reality is you have to live your life. And you have to actively live your life. And I don't mean living it up. That might be a part of living your life. But you have to really be proactive in seeking opportunities that could come your way, even when you may not be sure that the opportunity is for you, or that you have all the answers, or just the thought of the opportunity may make you nervous. It doesn't mean that you should not go for the opportunity. In fact, it probably means that you should go for the opportunity. Your life and your career will be filled with unexpected turns and twists along the way. Many of them will be joyous and some less so. I guarantee that whether they're happy or not so happy, so many of the challenges that come through your life will be stressful, but change and transition and growth always are. But I hope in all the things that you do and in all the ways that you make your experiences count, that you are always ready, even if you're not able to finally contain and determine what ready really means, to capitalize on that next opportunity, whenever it is and however it presents itself. It does mean that you must muster the courage to seize the moment and determine that the opportunity really may be for you regardless of what the people around you may say. You have got to believe that there's a reason that you came here to North Carolina Central University to pursue graduate degrees, to excel in your career and your positions, and to know that it's your opportunity to make a better chance and a choice in this world to do good by somebody else. Now, you may perceive that somebody else is smarter or has an advantage over you in some way, or maybe prettier or more handsome, or has this connection or that. And I don't know about you, but often it's those kinds of things that allow us to talk ourselves out of pursuing things that really might be the opportunities for us. But just what if? What if you decide to offer yourself and to give it all you got? You will absolutely amaze yourself. Because the best things in life come when you're willing to take a chance, not to play it safe. And as lawyers, I want to be careful about how I say this, but you don't always have to play by the rules either. Because often the rules are there to limit you, not to allow you to really reach your fullest potential. And so there will be opportunities that will arise over the course of your lives that you never, ever, ever could have possibly considered. So be careful about considering those opportunities only for somebody else. You will be a part of the transformation of your chosen fields, and that's the way it's absolutely supposed to be. You will make the best laid plans for your lives, and in many ways those plans will ring true. But there are also going to be times when those plans are absolutely upset, and things will happen that are beyond your control. Your dream job may slip through your fingers, but your fallback plan could be just the thing that leads you to how you discover your passion. Just be prepared. Work hard to make a good impression every day, and always put yourself in the path of opportunity. So when
opportunities arise and you see folks calling everybody else's name, make sure to think about calling your name. But honestly, even when they don't, because I can tell you my name hasn't always been on the list, don't be confined by the rules. Have faith in the ability that there was a reason that you've been here, and there's a reason that there's time for your service and for you to show up and do what's right. Do the little things like showing up on time. And y'all, on time really means about 15 minutes early. And I know that seems like a little thing, but the reality is if you walk in at 10:30 and the meeting starts at 10:30, I promise you a whole lot of stuff has happened before you got there. And it's hard to catch up on those kinds of things because that's also when the relationships are built. People don't want to talk when the meeting is going on because that's meeting time, but the relationships are formed before the meeting. And make sure that you're always exhibiting professionalism, even in the toughest of times, and I know that can always be challenging. And garner respect from your peers and appreciation from your supervisors. And under no circumstances must you discount your abilities anytime, ever, because after all, you're an eagle, and eagles in fact soar. Be respectful and kind even in the most challenging of times. And go meet people. Join professional associations, not just with your name on the roll, but really being active and participant in those organizations. Most of the opportunities that you find to be the best ones will not fall in your lap, so you must go after them. Broaden your friend groups and your professional groups because you really never know what you're preparing yourselves for. So whether you're serving on the local board or the commission, don't think that you're not the one who ought to be called for those kinds of things. The work in those kinds of commissions, or frankly, whether or not you're a softball coach or whatever it is, you'd be surprised how those things really do make a difference because the connectivity, and I'm saying this because I'm a little bit older, and connectivity for people my age and older means we pick up the phone. And people who hire pick up the phone. So try it. Pick up the phone. You'll send in lots of applications, but you want to make sure that you're really connecting with somebody. And so as you're out and about and building these relationships and networking, and you meet people, ask to have coffee. And don't just ask to have coffee and let them walk away. Say, how about next Tuesday as you pull out your cell phone and your calendar? And I'm going to tell you this. I could say this to a room of 50 million people, and only about 2 of them will do it. But it's the 2 who do it who distinguish themselves. And everybody else's resumes are sitting on the pile of the gatekeeper's desk, right? I'm the Chief Justice, all right? I'm just telling you what I know. So, now my lawyer friends, I'm excited about all of you. But I also know I don't want you anxious over this bar exam. You are North Carolina Central University law graduates, and you are well equipped to pass this law exam. And I know others of you here have professional exams and licensing exams, so what I'm about to say is for you as well. Do not let fear shut you down. It's okay to be afraid, but use fear as a motivator. And sometimes what we do when we're afraid is we isolate ourselves because we think that she's not going through it and he's not going through it. You got to come together. You just got to come together. And I promise you, I know you've been working hard for the last 3 years or so, and you've missed your families, and you got this event coming up, and this is coming up, and somebody's getting married and all of that. But your families and friends have been on abbreviated schedule with you for the last 3 years. I'm telling you, 2 more months will not matter. You have got to make this bar exam, licensing exam, whatever it is, the most important priority of your life. You just must do it. And it is doable. And Dean O'Neill, if we need to talk some more about that, I'm glad to come to the law school, because there really are some things that we can be doing now to prepare for the bar exam. I want you to know that I truly believe in you. And I know you're going to be the leaders in your profession, whether or not you have a master's in jazz studies or education or your Juris Doctorate in law. But really, as leaders, we are not really usually leading for ourselves. We're leading for those who are around us. And all of you will be leaders in our profession and in your professions and in our communities. But let me tell you this. Good leadership means that you must be willing to stand for the truth. And the truth ain't always easy, y'all. So it takes courage to stand for the truth. And it takes courage to stand for what's right. And as good leaders and people who will be depending upon you, you cannot be afraid to ask why. So in North Carolina, where 85% of African American boys are not proficient in reading by the 4th grade, we must all ask why. When 1 in 5 children in the state of North Carolina is hungry, these are our babies. And I don't care what your profession is, you gotta ask as a leader, why is this? And with the acquired knowledge and skills and scholarship that you've attained, how is it that you can fix these kinds of issues in our communities? I know you're passionate about your families and communities, and as leaders, your passion will be wonderfully transformed, because in that transformation, you will be empowered. And when you're empowered, you have the opportunity to empower others, empowered to lead, and empowered to plant seeds of hope, seeds of trust, seeds of goodness, and seeds of legacy. And when you plant these seeds, you give people the courage to speak for themselves about important issues that we know are really important for our communities. And the other thing we know is that our voices are often our best weapons. It's important to speak the truth. There are a whole lot of needs that have to be addressed, and we need you for your innovation, your creativity, and your commitment. There will be successes because of you, even in what feels like a setback. And you will lead, and you will set the standards for all of us. And where we have a moral duty, you will lead us to help to understand that we must invest in others, that we have an opportunity to teach and to heal and to protect. And where we need patience and civility and hard work, your work and your commitment will not be in vain. The education that you've received here at North Carolina Central University will carry you far, and you will indeed soar. With your spirit, you will not be deterred, and you will run this race, and you will finish at the top. And for your hard work and your passion, we are all going to be a better state, a better community, a better nation, and a better world. So whatever you do next, and whatever your paths take you, please know that all of your North Carolina Central University family, Sherry Beasley as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of North Carolina, and all of those who are around you will be so, so very proud of you, and we're excited about what the next chapter in your lives brings. Thank you, and God bless you.
Chief Justice Beasley, you are an inspirational leader, not only for those who seek to follow your path in the legal profession, but for our graduates who are motivated by the quest to be an innovator and a trailblazer just like you. We thank you for those inspiring words to our graduates. Let's give Justice Beasley another round of applause. Thank you. Before we move to the next agenda on our program, It is my pleasure to recognize an individual who is an alumnus of our law school, a famous lawyer, an attorney, who is well known across the country, and who's here today for a very special reason. And his granddaughter is also graduating from our law school today. Yes. So it is my pleasure to recognize alumnus Attorney Willie Gary. Will you please stand? And his wife, Gloria, will you please stand? Thank you. His granddaughter is also following in the family tradition. At this time, we would now present the candidate for honorary degree. It is my privilege to present North Carolina Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, the Honorable Cherry Beasley, with the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. As you have heard, Chief Justice is a distinguished servant leader who has impacted humanity, society, and the greater public through her work as a lawyer, a judge, and now Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of North Carolina. In honor of her exceptional contributions to the state of North Carolina, outstanding record of numerous laudable merits on the local, regional, and national level, and distinction as the first African-American Chief Justice of North Carolina, it is my pleasure to award the Honorable Cherry Beasley the degree, will you please come forward, the degree of Humane Letters. Before we hoot her, I want to just read what the citation says in part. The citation reads, "The Honorable Cherry Beasley, Chief Justice of the North Carolina Supreme Court, you are respected for your comprehensive knowledge of the law and dedication to the truth. You made history in March 2019 when you were named as North Carolina's first female African-American Supreme Court Chief Justice, becoming only the fourth female African-American Chief Justice in the United States. In that capacity, and through your role as a lecturer for students at North Carolina Central University School of Law and the University of North Carolina School of Law, you have ignited sparks of encouragement in many aspiring attorneys and judges from diverse backgrounds. For these and other admirable achievements, we bestow upon you this honor today. Presented on this day, the 10th of May, in the year 2019, signed by myself, Dr. Johnson O. Akinlaya, Chancellor, and Mr. George R. Hamilton, Chair of the Board of Trustees. Congratulations to the Chief Justice Beasley. Let's put it on top of that. Right? All right. Congratulations. Please join me in giving Justice Beasley another round of applause. Congratulations to you.
Will all students graduating with honors please stand? North Carolina Central University is proud to congratulate all of its graduates and to offer gratitude to all of those who have made this day a momentous occasion for them. We pause now to especially recognize those students who have excelled academically, placing them in the special classification of honors students. To you, honors students, we say thanks for your high academic achievement. We celebrate that achievement as you fulfill the essential purpose of higher education and inspire those who will follow you. Again, congratulations on your outstanding academic performance, and may you continue to soar high with the Eagles. Thank you. Chancellor Akinleye, it is my privilege to report to you that the candidates here assembled have qualified in all aspects for the respects for the degrees by successfully completing curricula offered by the several graduate and professional schools of North Carolina Central University and have been certified by the registrar and recommended by the faculty and the Board of Trustees to be awarded the appropriate graduate and professional degrees. Would the summa cum laude candidates for the degrees of Master of Arts, Master of Music, Master of Public Administration, Master of Social Work, Master of Sciences, Master of Business Administration, Master of Arts in Teaching, Master of Education, Master of School Administration, Master of Information Science, Master of Library Science, and Juris Doctor please stand and remain standing? Would the magna cum laude candidates in those same degree programs please stand and remain standing also? Would the cum laude candidates in those same degree programs stand and remain standing? Will all candidates stand and remain standing? It is with great pleasure that I present these candidates who have successfully completed all of the requirements for graduation in their respective academic programs. They have been certified by the registrar, approved by the faculty and the Board of Trustees, commended to you for conferral of professional and graduate degrees.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of the respective schools and colleges of the university, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of North Carolina Central University and the Board of Governors of the University of North Carolina, I do hereby confer upon each of you the degree for which you have qualified with all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Congratulations. Please be seated.
Today, North Carolina Central will award a doctoral degree to the 6th student who has earned a PhD in integrated biosciences. At this time, I would like to ask Dr. Jalay Rizé, Associate Provost and Dean of the School of Graduate Studies, to come forward and present our PhD candidate and her advisor.
Will Dr. Tia Tay, the candidate for Doctor of Philosophy in the College of Arts and Sciences, along with her advisor, Dr. Kerlinda Williams, please approach the platform. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will the candidates for master's degrees in all colleges and schools please stand? Turn to your right, pass your hood to the person behind you, and hood the person in front of you. Great job. Thank you. Please be seated. Dr. Carlton Wilson, Dean of College of Arts and Sciences, please come forward.
Good afternoon. Will the candidates for Master of Arts, Master of Music, and Master of Science in the College of Arts and Sciences please move to the platform?
Ashley F. Adams, Felton Fouché, Tyler Persky, Matthew York, Colin Williams, Devin Frazier, Kristen Reed, UTV, U10. Jennifer H. Vieira, Walisha Jenkins, Charles Okichuchu, Brianna Jackson, Nicholas Speaker, Abumbala Habadu, Edward Holly, Jessica Malandi, Sushma Gamiri, Pratisha Benstola, Peter Okanjo, Abdu Hagos, Omani Akinsolo,
Dr. Robert Wordham, Associate Dean of College of Behavioral and Social Sciences, please come forward.
Will the candidates for the degree Master of Arts, Master of Public Administration, Master of Science, and Master of Social Work please move to the platform?
That was Cameron R. Riley. Eva Smith. Jelena R. Shipman. Morgan Jones. Amber N. Bates. Felicia N. Kelly. Tamara F. Cuffey. Janiqua N. Quai. Jasmine Bethia. Brianna J. Jones. Chanel A. Hill. Tabitha L. Ostroup. Denisha J. Cuthbert. Rashida Brandon. Raven A. Love. Sarah A. Yance. Timothy E. Edelin. Alexis C. Crawford. Simone Oates Bullock. Shaquia Atkinson. Jamal Percy. Nina S. Barrett. Keith E. Whitaker. Shan J. Carter. Mohammed N. Jalla. Juanita Y. Starks. Antoinette J. Wells. Tiara McKeithen. Michelle D. Dixby. Shaquana J. Lindsay. Jasmine C. Wallace. Clarissa M. Green. Asia A. Skyers. Eric J. Winfrey Jr. Olivia S. Sings. Zaire McCarroll. India N. Jones. Gregory R. Howard Jr. Precious A. Gill. Malaysia Medeiros. Tevin J. Van Eaton. Tiffany K. Holloman. Michelle L. Eggers. Suha Najjar. Edith M. Crawley Kearns. Terry H. Jeanette. Kwamia Bassnight.
Shatara Respis. Bernita Mavaro. Tiana Trent. Zamaria S. Lockhart. Sierra M. Mosley. Marquita M. Martin. Dejana M. Johnson. Tomisha Y. Johnson. Anita M. Marks. Tia C. Rawlings. Edwina Y. Steele. Alexis McGilberry. Alexander D. Morris. Glenn Davis, Jr. Justin L. Williams. Andre L. Bell. Calvin R. Tillman. Michelle S. Whitaker. Karanda J. Schubrick. Gilda D. Suter. Remisha Jones. Crystal S. Lucas. Tiandra S. Wade. Christy L. Pullum. Aaliyah M. Mason. Shakira M. Henderson. Tony C. Richardson. Victoria P. Williams. Tamaya Deutsch. Jasmine Harrell.
Erico M. Williams. Sasha Morphus. Chandra E. Hill. Jessica G. Bryant. Kashana T. Anthony. Catriona E. Johnson. Crystal R. Williams. Tanya A. Davis. Natasha Camille Price. Stanisha Arnell Meadows. Sherelle T. Robinson. Kimberly A. Young. Dakivia T. Stanley. Nadira Lowen. Fatima Funderburk. Carla J. Evans. Seneca M. Williams. Olympia V. O'Neill. Brittany Walker. Brittany D. Norman. Jacqueline D. Roundtree. Nelson R. Martinez. Atlia Bird. Maya T. Bryant. Brianna McCoy. Sarissa Dewberry. Alexis J. Andrews. Donita L. Smith. Daryl M. Holloway. Donald D. Norwood. Jade Bateman Scott. Marilyn E. Solomon. Nina G. Harvey. Detra S. Hunt. Janita A. Jackson. Serenia S. Bishop. Samaje A. Gordon. Tyrone David.
Dr. Anthony Nelson, Dean of School of Business, please come forward.
Will the candidates for the Master of Business Administration please proceed to the platform?
Inobong Biobot. Kanisha A. Tillman. Lindsay F. Williams. Patrice Shanae Goldman, Esquire. Bria M. Barry Holly. Bentley M. Sims. Jaquay A. Sutton.
Dr. Audrey Beard, Dean of School of Education, please come forward.
Will the candidates for the Master of Arts, Master of Arts in Teaching, Master of School Administration, and Master of Science in the School of Education please move to the platform?
Daniel S. Taylor. Jessica Chambliss. Crystal Rasco. Carolyn E. Hester. Jessica N. Barr. James N. Adams III. Pamela F. Age. Beverly A. McGowan. Jennifer N. Jarrett. Ashley D. Williams. Sheila Rentrope Brown. Marquita Raquel Pope Brown. Al Nessica R. Waters. Talitha Q. Batts. Gregory D. Corbett. Willis R. Foster Jr. Michael L. McCutter. Shaquila E. Holiday. Shatana Clay. Laura Bonds. Nikki H. Miller. Nicole M. Martin. Tevin L. Jones. Robert J. Giles III. Lachey L. Barr. Lauren M. Robinson. Candace Presley Cox.
Jordan Roth. Caroline A. Gobble. Timothy J. Wooten. Barry R. Wallace. Ryan S. Talby. Mary Annetta Havlick. Kimberly Edwards. Kristen M. Dewan. Rhonda E. Bell. Erica M. Williams. Ethiopia M. Lemons. Jasmine R. Reese. Jordan N. Silverthorne. Deja M. Whitaker. Lillian Behill. Jasmine N. Walker. Eliza Kate Hallen. Sarah E. Zudrinski. Julia M. Black. Julie K. Bryan. Emily R. Brown. Whitney E. Hewitt. Hannah L. Rasmussen. Taylor E. Yelton. Corrine M. Wagner. Haley V. Piercy. Kenitria Byers. Shannon Perry Smith Anthony. Sonia Spruill. Desiree T. Fisher. Sarah Waluski. Amber L. Parrish.
Brianna N. Marshall. Charlene M. Martin. Thank you. Kathleen E. Cunis. Jessica L. Brazen. Tyra Boyu.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Sway Sway Kong.
Congratulations.
Hui Hui Ling. Jaleisha Sierra Leggett. Hannah E. Kelly. Bethany S. Falk. Tiana Wydell. Emily L. Barton. Abby J. Wingard. Elizabeth L. Thompson. Peyton A. Fox. Brooklyn R. Campbell. Marcus M. Mitchell. Willie D. Little.
Thank you.
Angelica White. Abla Mansour. Blair J. Gray. Janessa T. Brown. Marcus W. Campbell. Crystal S. Cox.
That's pretty lady.
Brandy M. Montgomery. Jasmine S. Davis. Samantha A. Liscombe. Y. Toro Ramirez. Angela M. Hargrove. Stephanie A. Formiski.
Congratulations. Please be seated.
Dr. John Gant, Dean of School of Library and Information Sciences, please come forward.
Will the candidates for the Master of Information Science and the Masters of Library Science please come to the podium?
Edna M. Anidji. Jacque A. Sutton. Hannah E. Wisnett. Hillary J. Harris. William H. McLean. Melissa A. Flowers. Devontae M. Green. Allison M. Rory. Morgan A. Nelson. Susnitha Chandran Mundayataval Appeal. Bajaya Sharman. Mudhavi Thakur. Daniel N. Corrego. Novice H. Garrett. Michelle D. Robinson. Sheila A. Azugu. Abiola Iraloya. Michelle A. Brown. China Chanel McQueen.
Congratulations to all the master recipients.
Good afternoon. Yes. Legal Eagles. Legal Eagles, class of 2019. It's your time. It's your time. Will the candidates for the Juris Doctor degree in the North Carolina Central University School of Law please stand, turn, and hood the person to your right. Chancellor, if I may, this class is a very unique class. It is like no other class that has graduated from the School of Law.
They have excelled in every area. They have passed the test. They are our best and brightest class ever. They will make history, as they already have, in July. Yes, you will. Please move to the stage.
Talita Silva. Alexandria B. Gwynn. Cheryl M. Harris. Stephen P. Lindsay. Warren R. Weatherspoon. Donna Mansfield. Iris D. Morales. Anne Marie Fristo. Jasmine N. Downing. Tyler D. McKeithen. Aiden C. Spencer. G. William Murphy. Anastasia X. Mebane. Rashonda T. Murphy. Corey D. Case. Taylor B. Webb. Janet E. Miller. Tori A. Humphrey. Jordan A. Smart. Tava L. Wilson. John D. Lofton II.
Luis Alberto G. Poses. Eric M. Howard. Erica C. Neesmith. Glaver G. Silva. Paulina Y. Lopez. Rakia M. Kirby. Joy S. Ponder. Kristen Dial Boyette. Lauren A. Parker. Luke C. Bradshaw. Kim Kimberly E. Cephas. Adrian R. Cherry. Regina R. Fulton. Enisha Smith. Janelle D. Jones. Cameron V. Reed. Joseph J. Garcia. Michael N. Carter.
Thank you so much.
Lakeisha S. Banks. Tiwalola Abiganrin. Taquan D. Kate. Landy V. Tate. Alec Glenn. Stacy L. Hanna. Zachary M. O'Halloran. Zachary D. McLaurin. Lauren R. Stamey. Haley M. Lampkin Blythe. Ian G. Hood. Victoria Rukas. Alexis C. Green. Tanita S. Holmes.
Jarrett L. Ward. Olavide Onforian. Olabisi Ophanion.
Thank you.
Alexis Gary. Ellis S. Holding. Kirsten C. Evans. Chandler S. Bryant. Sade D. Knox. Naya A. Harris. Aaron C. Graham. Austin Gabrielle Zanetta. Zaire McCarroll. Anye Blackstock. Shaman B. Fullwood. Kristen L. Covington. Janan M. Holmes. Aaron D. Harris. Khadidra S. Baker. Walter T. Ramsey Jr. John S. Ashby. Stephen D. Taylor Jr. Patrick J. Condorosi. Richard A. Porter. Stephanie Mullings. Haley Chase Kirby. Jasmine S. Griffin. Dominique Lynette Sparks. James E. Futrell. Emily C. Dixon. Markeisha K. Reynolds. Sylvia E. Burko. Elizabeth Anije. Xavier D. Lightfoot. Tyler J. Block. Brian M. Sumner. Maya A. Bryant. Essence T. Henderson. Rosalind G. White. Jasana A. Levy. Dominique J. Moore. Martisha D. Gaff.
John W. Bailey. Kelly R. Brown. Nancy A. Barron. Shasta D. Staley. Ayodele D. Watford. Crystal N. Wilkins. Ashley C. Wiley. Gentry A. Palmer Jr. Cameron M. Hardesty. Daniel F. Allison. Robert L. Sosauer. Morgan E. Kendall. Chelsea C. Polly. Samuel J. Kellum. Shaniqua B. Granby. Deborah A. Hutchison. Desiree A. Hutchison. Megan Clinton. Ernest L. Smith. Abigail M. Holloway. Olivia S. Sings.
Thank you, Legal Eagles.
All right, my turn. Would all graduates who have received their degrees at these exercises please stand to be recognized with one last round of applause. Give them a round of applause. Congratulations. 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 Please be seated. At this time, Mr. Samuel Cooper, President of North Carolina Central University Alumni Association, will now conduct the induction ceremony for the spring 2019 graduates. Mr. Cooper, please move to the podium.
Good afternoon. Oh man, y'all can do better than this. Y'all just graduated. Good afternoon. On behalf of North Carolina Central University Alumni Association and the 38,000 fellow Eagles in Eagle Land out there, we congratulate you and wish you the best of luck in the future. There's one point I want to make, and I'll go into the pledge. During the Chief Judge's remarks, she said one thing to you, and you really need to take heed. She said, be to work on time. That's where the negotiating starts. That's where the networking starts. So be to work on time. As an alum of North Carolina Central University, your first year's membership in the association is free. All you have to do is visit the website and sign up. This is being to work on time. Alumni is out there to help you. We're a networking force to take you to the next level. So join the organization. I don't care where you're going to be in the world. There's an alum there that will help you. So if you would kindly stand, and we'll take the pledge. And you can find the pledge on the last page, next to the last page of the program. And you can repeat after me. I hereby solemnly pledge unbroken allegiance to my alma mater in appreciation for the opportunities for development afforded me as a student at North Carolina Central University. I pledge active membership in the Alumni Association wherever I may be. Through association with fellow alumni, I shall ever do my best to uphold the ideals and traditions of my alma mater. I pledge as a citizen to exemplify the high ideals thus implied, seeking truth always, rendering positive service to community, state and nation, and so to live as ever to bring honor and respect to my alma mater. Congratulations.
Please be seated. We are almost done. Be patient. You're there. You're almost there. As we get ready to conclude this ceremony, we want to remind you that as of today, you've secured an advanced degree and training and will transition away from the sacred grounds of North Carolina Central University. Please take a moment to think about what your new role will be in our larger society as you go forward armed with another academic credential that will open new doors to your success. But only if you remain humble, focused, and committed to a lifelong quest of learning. Here's my charge to you. Be an agent of change and doer of good. Help bridge the gap of inequalities that exist in our communities. Use your degree in ways that elevate NCCU. Leverage your talent to move our nation forward. Remember that hate and bigotry have no place in our society. Bring civility and care back to our world. The time is now, and the future is yours. Our future is in your hands. Graduates, congratulations. We bid you farewell from NCCU. Look back, come back, and give back to your alma mater. Congratulations again. At this time, will you please stand for the singing of the alma mater? Reverend.
May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. And may the Lord give you his peace. Amen.
Chancellor Akinleye, with your permission, I declare our 133rd commencement exercises closed. The recessional